Guardians, what's going on? Blue Knight here. First and foremost, thank you all for all the love and support that you all have been giving me with the new job and everything. I only get maybe 2 hours a night to try out the GMs and try to do some stuff. Last night was unsuccessful. That was Tuesday night. This is Wednesday night, and I beat it on like my third or fourth try. Again, it's this one's actually super easy. You just can't do not very smart things like I do all the time. Anyway, again, thank you all so much for the love. Let's jump into it now. On to our subclass. We're going to be running Song of Flame. We're going to get this thing back quite often. There's, instead of the last GM having the Void Worm, this GM we have an Arc Worm. So keep that in mind when you see like weapons and stuff like that. We're using our weapons primarily for the Arc Hunger. Anyway, Song of Flame, you take so much less damage. You can get shot by the boss like 2 or 3 times and not die in this super, whereas anything else you get hit with, 1 of or 2 out of 3 of their shots and you're dead. So, or you have to get hit with all 3, but 2 of 3 will bring you to 1 HP. And then you'll probably die from something else small shooting you. But anyway, Song of Flame, absolutely amazing. Ignition, stun, unstops. So this 1 snap, 1 bird, both of them are going to ignite, and there's a stun for you. Up next, Healing Rift, Burst Glide, probably the only Warlock movement I'll ever use. Then we have Arcane Needle. This is important because we're pairing Arcane Needle with Faceted Dawn. We have a scout rifle that is anti-barrier, but it takes 6 to 10 shots to pop the barrier. And then we're using Grand Overture as our exotic heavy, and as long as we are radiant, that thing will one-shot a barrier. So you'll see it in the video a few times. I proc Radiant right at the right time. I swap to my heavy, and then I use the Radiant that I get from Faceted Dawn to pop the Barrier Champ and to take him out. Barrier Champs are only at the beginning of this GM, just so you know. Anyway, Arcane Needle, plus you get 3 charges. It applies a Darkness debuff, a damage over time. This is absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend you run this. And we're running Healing Grenades for one of 2 reasons. Let's talk about the aspects as well. First one, Bleak Watcher. We can consume our grenade. So it's just hold to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slow projectiles at nearby targets. Okay, so we're going to consume our grenade and then throw a Bleak Watcher turret. But then we have our exotic and our exotic chest piece, and it does a lot for our Bleak Watcher turrets. This isn't Osmiomancy. Well, I guess Osmiomancy doesn't even... Osmiomancy gives you 2 cold snap grenades. That's why Osmiomancy Bleak Watcher is strong. But this and any other grenade is strong with this exotic. So Healing Grenade, 2 purposes. 1 to heal you, and then 2 to throw out your Bleak Watcher turrets. And then we have Feed the Void. So that way our turret kills, our melee kills, our super kills, any ability will give us Devour, and it's just healing. Now let's look at the fragments. We got Faceted Protection, super important for pretty much, well, it's very important for the second encounter and the boss encounter. Boss encounter, you're going to be running by things to get the orbs, to get the arc charges, so you take less damage with this while running by them. And then the second encounter, when we do the cheese sitting in the little beam thing, if anything does happen to spot us and throw a grenade at us or something like that, then we're able to heal ourselves, or we're able to react to it appropriately. This gives us enough time. On to Faceted Courage. So Arc, Solar, and Void abilities do increase damage to targets afflicted with Darkness debuff. 2 Darkness debuffs is going to be our Arcane Needle and then our Bleak Watcher turret. And then the Arc, Solar, and Void abilities is just our super. So this allows our super to do more damage to things that we are going to be doing damage to. Facet of Ruin. So increases the size and damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target. With this exotic chest piece, there are 4 stasis crystals around the turret. And then usually as it pops up, it freezes whatever's in it. So shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, it's just everything does more damage. And then our ignitions from our super are going to have increased area of effect. Then I already talked about Faceted On. Powered melee hits against targets make you radiant. We get 3 charges with it. As long as you use it at the right time, you get the timing down, then you're perfectly fine and you don't really have to worry about it. And then Facet of Command. What was the second part of this? Powered melee final blows make you and nearby allies radiant. We're doing this solo. Facet of Command. Freezing or suppressing a target reloads your equipped weapons and increases weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness. This is kind of like having a targeting helmet mod for your equipped subclass of weapon. It does. You'll notice a difference if you run this. Plus, the less I have to reload, the happier I'm going to be, in my opinion. It also says defeating frozen or suppressed targets creates a stasis shard or void breach. There, we can pick up stasis shards, and then we can do stuff with that in the seasonal artifact. But let's go over the weapons. First one, Law Signal. Reason why I'm running it, auto-loading holster. It's great. It's area denial, so it's great ad clear. It's great damage over time. It's just these 2 grenade launchers are kind of my all-time favorite now. Other options, I was gonna run it with Arbalist. I was gonna run like Line in the Sand or one of the Bittersweets, and then Tarnished Metal, and then Arbalist. I found myself wanting more ad clear, or wanting an ability, or needing an ability to weaken things with grenade launchers from the seasonal artifact. So I didn't want to use heavy GLs up close because, you'll kind of take yourself out doing that. So this is a much better option in my opinion. Anyway, Law Signal, absolutely amazing. I highly recommend running it. And then we have Tarnished Metal, Scout Rifle. We're going to be using this for barrier. You'll notice that we don't have any weapons for unstops, but we are primarily focusing on our super ignitions to stun them, as well as our turrets to freeze them. It works out. The only barriers, I'll say this before, but I'll say it again. The only barriers that are in this GM are at the very beginning, and there's a bunch of them at the very beginning. So, do with that information as you want. I was able to complete it with this. So other options, if you don't have a Tarnished Metal, this week, Spire the Watcher is the featured dungeon. I'm going to have a how-to solo video very soon on that. And so go get yourself a long arm. I got a Substance Explosive Payload, 100 impact. 55 range. It hits like a truck. It's an aggressive frame. Slower firing, 120 versus 200. But Substance, you never have to reload. And then the Facet of Command, you never have to reload. So it's 2 reload perks for 1. Another reason I like Tarnished Metal, I just saw it and I use it quite a bit, is craftable and shoot to loot explosive payload. Weapons with explosive payload seem to build the satiation for the worm faster. I don't quite understand the reason why. Like, I can use this stats for all jolting feedback, and until jolting feedback procs, it's so slow to fill up the arc hunger. Whereas Tarnished Metal and Long Arm, both of these having explosive payload, 5 to 8 shots and it's full. You've got ability regen. So other options, if you wanted to use an exotic scout rifle, Symmetry, it's very lackluster. Eddy Current is super fun. This weapon is super fun. I think this skin makes it look a lot like Polaris Lance, but it's just lackluster. I don't know. Final blows and precision hits build up dynamic charges, swapping to Arc Seeker mode or holding your reload button to change fire modes. Increases damage and partially reloads the magazine based on the number of charges. So like you got full charges, you run out of ammo, hold R, it'll load a full mag of the explosive rounds or the big rounds. I have yet to use this thing effectively. It might just be a me thing. I'm going to try a couple runs with this tonight. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I don't know about that. I prefer either tarnished metal or long arm, in my opinion. Now onto the heavy. We're using Grand Overture. This thing has been a lot of fun to use in the new dungeon, and I was like, man, I really want to bring this thing into a GM. And so I have really low takeouts with my heavy machine gun or with Grand Overture because I will consistently use my exotic heavies. So like I think my highest exotic heavy unfortunately right now is 2009, and it's this, and I really don't want to get rid of this roll. So if I want to use an exotic in my primary slot, I'll just break this down into it because I can always get a Grand Overture back from collections. So a little tidbit of information for you guys as well. As long as you're going from exotic to exotic, you'll never lose the level. But yeah, Grand Overture. Other options could be a bittersweet. I could use jolting feedback, loose change. That plays, those two perks play right into each other. Explosive light, envious arsenal. Those perks play well together. Also, line in the sand. I used this. The reason why I have Polaris Lance, to be honest, is because I was trying to do a getaway artist Polaris Lance build, and I just wasn't having the best time having the only thing that allows us to build the Arc Satiation, the Arc Soul. It didn't work out well for me, I'll say. So anyway, Grand Overture, these are other options that you can run. Let's talk about the artifact now. First column, you definitely want Anti-Barrier Scout because we are primarily using a Scout to shoot things. And then we've got Unstoppable Pulse and Anti-Barrier Shotgun. Those two don't matter. None of these matter. One thing I will say that you do not want to have on is Overload Breach Load Grenade Launcher. Do not have it on. The reason being is because when we super, we become Radiant. What we can use, you'll see it in the video, the second half of the first encounter, I pop my super and I just start spraying the grenade launcher all over the place. And the grenade launcher is anti-barrier because I'm Radiant, and it doesn't have this. You don't have this on. So you'll see it in the video. But yeah, do not have this on. Have this on if you're running this build. Second column, I would suggest doing Killing Breeze. It lets you kind of get out of the way of incoming fire. A lot of the damage that you're going to be taking is like hive boomers, like explosive damage. So when we talk about the armor mods, you'll see a concussive damper. I highly suggest that, so get ready for that. But anyway, Killing Breeze, rapid weapon final blows grant you a bonus to mobility. Self-explanatory. And then we have Fell the Revenant. There are Scorn. The final boss is Scorn. You know, there are a lot of Scorn in this GM. Must have Fell the Revenant. Use it. Then we have Rapid Impacts. Doesn't really matter because our grenade launcher has auto-loading holster, but I have it on there just in case if I do want to keep it out and reload it, we'll reload it faster with this. Third column. I have Total Carnage just because you gain damage resistance after finishing something. A few runs that actually saved me for that instance, and then I died shortly after, but I can see where the value lies in it, so we have that. And then we have Trace Evidence. Rapid precision hits or rapid final blows on targets affected by Jolt or Blind will generate ionic traces. Now, how are we blinding stuff? Well, this. Retinal Burn. Rapid arc weapon precision hits consume an arc charge or consume an honor charge to blind the target. We are making orbs. We have shoot to loot. We can pick them up. So we can blind things by just shooting them in the crit. So the crit spot. So these two play well together. And then we have Concussive Reload. Must have if you're using Lost Signal or really any other GL in my opinion. Using a grenade launcher to damage a boss, damage a champion, or break a combatant's shield weakens them. Super important. just have it if you're using Lost Signal or any other GL. We're pumping a lot into Hail the Storm. At the end, after the armor, we'll go over the tonics used, and we're using the one that boosts Hail the Storm. Just spoiler alert. Shattering stasis crystals releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. The boost, shattering frozen targets and stasis crystals, deals increased damage. So we're getting more damage from our subclass, and then this is giving us even more damage. It's a lot of damage. I highly recommend running this. If you're running the exotic armor that we are, if you're running this build, we're pumping a lot into this. Then we have fifth column, the last thing, Brain Freeze. None of these, I mean, we could have this one picking up Stasis Shard, grants you ability energy, but it's not, we're not using a heavy GL. I'm not going to run out there to get a Stasis Shard just for class ability energy. Our arc abilities and void abilities, we have none. And we're not making any void breaches. So Brain Freeze, and then I think there's 3 here. So anyway, Brain Freeze. Frozen combatants become surrounded by chilling fog, which slows combatants that aren't already. It can freeze stuff as well. And then weapons with that origin trait deal more damage to frozen combatants. We're not using one of those, but it's food for thought. On to the armor. We have Rime Coat Raiment. I have to slow down while I say that. Bleak Domain. So your Bleak Watcher turrets are enhanced with extended range and are surrounded by stasis crystals. Remember, breaking stasis crystals deals more damage from 2 different sources. And a Storm. While standing in the storm, you are granted icicles over time. Icicles activate when you fire your weapons, applying slow to targets they hit. And it can freeze them as well. So it's so good, especially with the Arc Hunger. You're getting your grenade back. I mean, you just got your first grenade. Your first grenade just came up and started shooting things, and you're halfway to another grenade. The first time that it freezes something, you'll get your grenade back, and then it's a very fun exotic piece. I wasn't liking it at first, but that's because I didn't understand it. Now I understand it. It's super versatile. You can use it defensively, so standing in the storm and you have a lot more crowd control, or throwing it in there and using those stasis shards to absolutely tear open everybody. Let's look at what we've got on the helmet here. We have 2 things: heavy ammo finder and arc siphon. You'll find out that we actually don't have anything other than on our bond, but we really don't have anything to speed up the ability regen. That's because of the arc worm. That's why we are using arc weapons, is for that reason. Because we don't really need them. We're just going to have ability regen like crazy with that worm. So yeah, heavy ammo finder. So that way we find more heavy ammo. We can use our heavy more often. A few times I caught myself lacking in the heavy department and wasn't using it for a while. That could have sped things up, but hindsight's 2020. And then arc siphon. We want to create those orbs to get armor charges in order to blind combatants when we shoot them in the crit spot. We have double arc loader, so that way we reload tarnished metal, faster. That's primarily what we're going to be reloading, is that. And so that's why we have these. On our chest piece, I highly recommend doing 1 solar, 1 void, and a concussive damper. If you don't find that the solar is a big issue for you, then do double void, single concussive damper. But I would highly suggest you running this concussive dampener because it's... Yeah, anyway, in my opinion, it's a must-have. Onto our boots. We have recuperation, so that way whenever we pick up an orb of power, it's going to replenish health, and picking up an orb of power is either with shoot to loot or running over it. So we can heal ourselves by shooting an orb, which is why I've got that. We have Arc Holster and Arc Scavenger. Arc Scavenger is going to give us more ammo for Grand Overture when we pick up ammo for it. Arc Holster is going to be reloading our arc weapons slowly after we stow them. And then on our bond, we have distribution, so reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. I mean, yes, it is ability regen. We do use this quite a bit, but we get our abilities back so fast without it too. But it does help a little bit. Then we have Bomber. Our grenade's going to be our most important thing because we need to have our turrets up a lot of the time for a lot of crowd control, a lot of damage with those stasis crystals. And then Powerful Attraction automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. It heals us. It allows us to blind stuff. Why not use it? Now let's look at the tonics that I used. I don't really want to sit there and grind Onslaught for Volatile Nugget. So I've just been making and using a bunch of these blue ones. The purple one does Hail the Storm and another perk that I'm not even using. So this one does Hail the Storm. It does the same amount of damage. It's just for 44 minutes versus the 66 minutes. So I've been using this one. You have plenty of materials to use them if you just play. That's why I've been doing this one. And then the Enriching Tonics, just focus whatever you want to focus, honestly. All right, then. Well, without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, as you just saw there, that was the that void, or that, sorry, not that void worm, that arc worm that we were talking about. That's why we've got the arc weapons. So there are probably going to be a few areas in this that I'm going to fast forward, just because I'll talk over them, but it's going to be, yeah, I'm going to need to fast forward through them just because they're not really, I'll tell you what I'm doing and then I'll fast forward through it because i.e. the second encounter. Let's just say that. All right, so here at the beginning, you're going to want to go right. Keep right. Literally, just go up the hill to the right. If you're feeling froggy, you can try and nuke that champion there in front of you, that barrier champ, but I've learned my lesson on that too many times. So we'll throw a grenade down here. What I'm doing is applying Radiant before I need to. So it'll be like you saw, grenade, melee, and then the weaken with the grenade launcher. And it absolutely fries the champions. Just trying to look for some extra damage here. I noticed that there's a bunch of stuff down below me. This is a great spot that this grenade launcher shines. It'll be even better here in a little bit when on the second half of this. I wasn't radiant there. I kept trying. I was like, well, I'm going to make myself radiant. And then I realized, oh no, duh. They have a whatchamacallit up. There we go. Make myself radiant. Still got a few seconds on radiant. Right there. That was, the shield went all the way down. And then it went back up. Unfortunate. I didn't get whatchamacallit here, but we're still able to take out the barrier knight. I didn't get radiant there. There's another barrier. Get our weapon ready here. We're going to weaken. We're not radiant again. I realize that. Get a little bit more damage over time. Don't really need to use the heavy right now. All right, this guy. This dude. When you hear the voice line, you want this guy to be dead as fast as you can get him dead. He'll keep you from using your abilities, such as like your grenade and your melee and your super. And you can use Transcendence, but with Transcendence without melee and grenades, kind of pointless in my opinion. So take him out, then focus on the champions first in this entire encounter. I probably should have said that at the beginning. And the reason being is because they will not continue the encounter. But yet you want to take them all out to get platinum. So what you need to do is, yeah, focus the champions during this encounter, and then you'll be good. Once the Revenant things, Revenant Knights and Revenant Wizards die, then there will be more that spawn in. See, there's this, that Revenant Ogre is this one. As you see, I took him out without taking the Barrier Knight out, and I need to get that over there. Luckily, that guy got taken out. This is where our grenade launcher shines. I'll show you here in a second. I don't know what I'm doing here. Throwing this. Here we go. Anti-barrier grenade launcher. Stunned unstop. Alright, cool. Stun barrier. Stunned unstop. Stun barrier. That was with the gun, but still. Another stunned unstop. I'm just focusing on this guy. So, it's fun. It's a fun little... It's fun that you can interact with those like that. Make sure all the barriers have been taken out. I know here in a second there's going to be a barrier that spawns right there where that Revenant Knight is. And then I just realized that I'm out of energy ammo. So I'm looking around for bricks. For some reason I couldn't shoot that one. And then it turns out it was on the other side of the tube there. I just wasn't paying too much attention to that. There's the barrier champ. He's already got his barrier up, so I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to not worry about it and pick up ammo. Get ready for the next one. So I make myself radiant. There's the barrier pop. Not too many. We're going to use the rest on the boss here. Only a couple of them hit him. That's not a barrier. That's a Revenant Knight. There we go. This was actually one of the fastest times that I did this part in as well. Normally I'm about 6.5, 7.5 minutes through this on the first 9 times that I tried this. This is probably the 10th time when I got it. But yeah, the first 9 tries, including yesterday's. It took me about 7.5, 8.5 minutes to get through that, so... Okay, the hole in the floor, the long tunnel, hole in the floor tunnel thing. Stay right. I don't believe I do it in this one, or I believe I do at the very end. I can't quite remember. I've had so many, but stay right. Like, I'll swing left, I think here. Yeah, I swing left and go right, but I accidentally, like, bump off of it there. Stay right, and you won't get lunged forward into the trap like I did. It'll knock you off. It'll bounce you off those boxes on the right side of the chute, and you'll get bounced off to the left, thus not making you go into the trap or into the enemy, like, line of sight. Anyway, take all these guys out. Same thing for the next room. Take them all out. Same thing for the next room. Take them all out. We're not trying to speed run it. One thing I will say, is this a fast run? No. Is it a safe run? Yes. Probably should have started off with that. But let me know in the comments if you heard that this is a safe run, not a fast run. I want to see how many people watch all the way through. Like, all right. Same, like I said. Just take everything out. There's going to be 5 enemies in here. I believe 4 raiders and a stalker. The stalkers are what you want to worry about. I'm sorry, the raiders are what you want to worry about. The raiders and then the sniper raiders in the final boss is ridiculous. This room coming up, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to throw your grenade in there and start freezing things. And then whatever's frozen, take out. Be careful the guy in the back of the room. That guy, the Corrupted Chieftain, those are arc. Those are arc, like, grenades that he's launching at you. They do a lot of damage. He will annihilate you. Just be careful. I choose to use the heavy there just because I've got the ammo behind me. I was trying to get the splash damage from explosive shot on the guy that was frozen around the corner there. That's why I was shooting the ground. Didn't work. Too far away. Realized that they TP'd down here. Skibbity bop. Alright. This next room. You can do one of two things. You can stay by the door and just use your cooldowns effectively, have discipline, all that stuff. Or you can go where I'm going to go and nothing will shoot at you except... Well, nothing will shoot at you. The only thing, it just takes longer because we're not using Polaris Lance. We're not using explosions. We're using grenades, and you can slide like I do. So you'll see here, yeah, two ways: stay by the door or go in this corner right here. This is the old, like one of the oldest cheese spots. Get yourself positioned in a way that you have a good amount of that generator that I'm going to look at here in a second. That you have a good amount of that generator in view. This is the view that you want. Towards the end of this, somehow I slide down and I can barely hit anything, so that's why it takes a while. Don't use your grenade unless you absolutely have to. Save your grenade. Try and put your grenade on top of the generator, and then something with explosive head or explosive payload, you can use it to pop the stasis crystals and stun the unstops. Hindsight's 2020. I shouldn't have stunned that guy at the beginning here, but I shouldn't have thrown that grenade. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward it, and you're going to see me do this section in this spot. I'll come back when I slip. When, like, I really can't see anything, I'll come back then. All right, so I'm going to unslow it down for a second, go back to normal speed. You see how this can be very tedious. I kept seeing right hook pop up in the bottom left of the screen, so I was like, what in the world is this? That's what right hook does, so I had no idea about that for this weapon. But this is what you want to do. You want to try and please put the grenade up there. I'm waiting. Okay, I'm waiting for him to come closer. There we go. He comes over. I thought about finishing him there. Nope, I didn't get the grenade up on the generator there, but this is, you want, that's fine at least, because you can stun the champion and shoot him. You want to be able to stun him and then shoot him afterwards to get continuous damage on them to keep moving forward. I've done this a few times where I'll stun them where I can't see them, but the grenades last 60 seconds, so you're sitting there for 60 seconds. You can't really do much to the champions, and it's just annoying. So use your grenade wisely in this area. This I thought would have been a good idea to put it up on the wall, except then things started shooting at it. And I got concerned because I thought they were shooting at me, but they weren't. So, maybe not the best thing to put it up there. I mean, it does work, but one well-timed void grenade, and then it's kind of over. But plus, you see, kind of stunned them in spots where I can't do anything to them, so I'm just sitting here. So, not the best. All right, I'll see you back. All right, so that's what did it there. I turned around. Also, this dude's shooting at me now. And he's one of the guys that throws the grenades. So I'm kind of freaking out. I'm like, man, do I just like get out and really quickly smoke the champion? So anyway, then I see the abomination over there, and I was like, oh, I know that guy's going to shoot at me. Luckily, explosive payload here, we're able to get some good splash damage on the champion here and be able to shatter him a few times to get him to stun. Should have waited to use that until after I used my grenade, but hindsight's 20/20. There's a stun. He's weakened because we're hitting him in the arm for crit damage, so it's not true crit damage, but it's just more than normal body shot damage. Just waiting on him to come back over to the right. There we go. Got that stun and dead. Now we just got to wait the rest. Nothing. No, you don't have to shoot anything else. You don't have to do anything. Except for maybe hide from the... hide from the abomination that might shoot you. Like this. Other than that, everything's despawned. You can go around and get the ammo. Do whatever you need to get. Laser section. Follow my exact path. Okay? Just follow it. We're going to go right, left, right. Right, left, right. There we go. Boom. Done. Through the air ducts, we're going to just spam space or spam your jump button. The faster you spam it, the better it is. I couldn't spam it very fast. This section, I'm going to throw a grenade. We're going to jump to the right. The grenade is just to stop the guys behind me from shooting me in the back. We're going to build up the arc starvation here. We're going to get the ability surge going. So that way when we jump up here, we can throw a grenade and stun everything. I didn't throw my grenade far enough here. Throw yours farther. Like, get all of them in all the crystals. You can just bomb them. You don't have to do this. You can just sit up here, take out these guys, and wait the 2.5 minutes. You won't get the ammo box, and you'll have 2 other champions, a barrier and an unstop. So it's up to you. I just chose to go ahead and do this. To just go ahead and get the tools needed to open the door, so that way we don't have to worry about it. So we'll grab this. We'll come back out. We'll have to throw another grenade for more CC. And then I'm trying to build that arc starvation up, that arc hunger. Into the ability surge. There we go. We're going to use that because those shots. Wait for stuff to start getting frozen. And then we go. And then I realized that that guy isn't frozen. Now, here, I think right now I should have gone up to the left instead of stayed on this platform. But the reason why I'm tapping them is because Back when it was solar surges for this, these did more damage because of solar damage. Now you want to be super precise. It takes about 40% to knock one chain. So you saw there, we didn't have enough to do the third chain with that first one. But once after you expend that one, you'll be able to take the rest of them out. If you still need a third one, don't worry about going left. You see how the marker on the right side of the screen is back over there on the right? You can just go over there and re-get that one and not have to fight anything. They recharge after a short amount of time on the ground, or after they have been fully expended, they recharge. All right, vault's open. Now we grab the heavy ammo. Didn't really need it, but that's fine. All right, I'm going to show what we're going to do. We're going to start it. Oh, I'm not going to show what I'm going to do. All right, so we're going to start it. We're going to throw a grenade up here. And then we're going to back up. I'm going to do that to get a good stun on them. All right, we want them to stagger. Reason being, you hear that charging sound? That's the boss's sniper. You get hit by that, you're probably going to die. Be careful jumping up the tube. Like, jump up and then, like, stop moving so you'll land and stop instead of sliding off. Come to this last platform up here. Use your healing rift as often as you can. I'm trying to get the arc starvation off right now. I'm trying to, you know, feed the arc worm. But everything's kind of hiding below me. You can hear the charging of the sniper rifles. Pay attention to that, because that's what's going to get you killed up here. Those are exactly that. It's the sniper rifles that are going to take you out. So just be careful. I suggest this first damage phase, you need to be like 50-50. You need to, like, obviously you need to do damage to the boss, but you also don't need to die to ads. Every so often, as you do damage to the boss, more ads will spawn in. So if you, like how I did, I took out 90% of the ads, and now nothing's shooting at me because they're all dead. Well, now stuff's spawning in. You can hear the spawn too. Hindsight being 2020, they'll always spawn in the back, in the opposite corner where the boss is now. So I accidentally threw that one up here. But they'll always spawn in the right corner over here on the right side of the screen right now. There. They'll always spawn there. So just maybe when you hear them spawning in, turn around, throw a grenade. Make sure you save a grenade for it. I'd say it's about every quarter of each health bar. So every quarter of the first half and every quarter of the second half is when stuff's going to spawn in. Second half doesn't matter, though. I mean, it does. Obviously, you don't want to die, but you really just want to burn the boss. You hear the snipers. They're those things. Those will end your run in a shot or two. Well, they'll group fire you. They'll hit you at the same time. Two of them will, and then you'll die instantly. It's not the most fun. The corrupted raiders, that's what you need to worry about. Obviously, the boss too. But the corrupted raiders, like that guy, see? He'll hide. He'll run and hide. You gotta follow him. Be careful about that. Not gonna lie, I died 4 times in this room to those corrupted raiders. Just learn by my experience. The only other thing I'd really worry about would be the void grenades. if they activate, if the void grenades activate on the bottom of this platform you're standing on, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But if they land on the side of the platform, like the little, yeah, the side of the platform, and you walk close to the side, it will start hurting you. So I don't suggest doing that. Just, you'll hear, those are audible too. You'll hear them, and then you'll know, oh, I gotta move because they're throwing it here. I missed this season of Polaris Lance. I kind of want to try to do an all-solar build. All right. Now that the first phase has ended, there are champions. 2 unstop champions just spawned under me. We need to worry about them while also trying not to die to the Scorn that are, you know, they have those abilities. I hear all the snipers around me, and I'm starting to get worried. I'm like, all right, pinpoint the snipers. Don't die. See, like that? Oh, boy, that will end your run so fast. Just be careful. Last time I died was to these guys on that side of the map. They just team shot me. So stay low. Use your healing rift all the time. They're still champions, but you don't necessarily have to focus them. Everything, like, everything that has spawned in is in already. Everything that has spawned in is all that's going to spawn in, I should say. Except for the arc chargers, the arc carriers. Those guys will continue to spawn in. Every time one dies, shortly after that, another one will spawn. But everything else, once it's dead, it's dead. You ain't got to worry about it. You can run along all these platforms. I find it easier to come back to this one when they're just aggroed to the bottom of that plate because they can see me, but they can't hit me. I thought that that was going to stun that champion, but it didn't. Turns out the boss is literally shielding, just shielding for the champion. Trying to get my ability surge going. We've got it now. Trying to get this grenade back. I'm holding my grenade button ready to throw it. Not so far this time, so it gets the champion. But again, you see all the immunes. I'm trying to find a spot to shoot at it through. Get a stun on him. That guy is taken out. Just play it smart. I know that not all. I know that most of the snipers are down. So just, I do hyper fixate here. I should be more diligent, but all right, so I strongly despise these tubes because they're just wide enough for you to jump up, but like I said, you can run along here. I hear that sniper charging sound, but that's just the bosses. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, which one am I going to go for first? All right, well, not that one. Right now I'm just trying to get the Arc Hunger up, like, to full, so that way I can get the ability regen. I'm just waiting for the grenade now. I don't really want to take that guy out. I just want him to survive, so that way he's low. And then that's when I was thinking, oh, hey, you know what? I might as well go ahead and get all these guys low, so that way when I do throw my grenade on them, I can nuke them, grab the core, and dunk it. It's my exact thought. I almost messed it up here. And I end up having to use my super. But it works. It's okay. I kind of didn't realize that hitting the ground was going to almost take me out there, so that was a little nerve-wracking to say the least. You don't have to put it away on the side. You can put it away on the back side of it, which you'll see here in a little bit. While you're running the charges, this back left corner is going to be the safe area. You're going to want to come back here, and now this is your forward operating base. This is where you can just live for a second. You know, did I see that volatile tonic thing? Maybe. I'll see here in a little bit. Anyway, we got 3 more batteries left. What we're going to do is we're going to take everything out. If you take out the arc carriers, the arc charge carriers, that's fine. They'll just respawn. You just want to make sure that you get a charge on the ground. And then what I do is I'll get a charge on the ground. I'll freeze the other guy. And then I'll run and grab that charge while the guy's frozen. So that way I don't get shot at. There's that. And we go. This guy's not frozen though. And he's a Bane. So there is my first use of the healing grenade portion of it, but I'm glad I had it there. There we go. After you dunk every single time, there's going to be spawns there and on the other side. Well, that other one that spawned in is another one of those arc carriers, but in the back left of the room, as you are seeing it from first entering the room, the back left of the room is where they're going to be spawning. Just be careful. Throw a grenade. Throw a turret up there with stasis crystals. Nuke them all. Or just get back here to this corner as soon as you can. That is also a Bane. Or maybe that is the Bane now. I need to get that ability regen going for my healing rift because it just went down. There we go. Here's what you want to do. You want to freeze them and then go. Grab it. That wasn't the thing, so I had to turn around. Meanwhile, the boss is shooting at me. Almost gets me there, but as long as you're moving perpendicular to them, not parallel to them, you should be good. Here's that grenade. We'll go ahead and just toss it up here. We'll get a good carpet of that out. There's most of everything that just spawned in is gone, with the exception of a few things, so that's always a good feeling. I'm like, I could go up there. I could super and go up there, but then I was like, nah. I'm going to let him respawn. I need to get this ability surge going. I need to start freezing stuff. I just need to play it smart. It's the closest anybody has ever been to me in this corner. I did not know that they could come that close, but I didn't think they could come back in this corner. I saw that he got booped to the right. That's why I'm trying to not, like, damage him at all. Or I guess I am, but I'm trying to not take him out. I'm trying to get him to come closer, but that turret is kind of making it not fun. I ended up taking him out there, but that's fine. He was a Bane. I don't care about that. I just need... Here he is spawning in front of me. I almost have my grenade, but you see, whenever you use your class ability, you get your grenade energy. He put up a totem. I have no idea where it went. I thought it went behind me. Here we go. I realized that was the last one, that this was the last one that I needed, so I was like, hey, you know what? Heck it. I'm going to go ahead and super. I would suggest supering at the last battery charge too, because it'll allow you to take 1 or 2 shots from the boss when you're trying to get back up top. So super, get up here. Don't bonk your head on the drop pod. And then double jump and then let go. And then double jump and then let go. And then double jump and then let go. So there's that. And then now we're back up here. So now that we're back up top, same thing. Except now there's not going to be any champions. So again, careful of the snipers. Take everything out that you can, as well as do boss damage, and you'll be fine. The corrupted raiders are what you are worried about up here. That's one of those. That's one of those arc charge carriers. Like that guy, they're not going to drop an arc charge now, but there's still something that can shoot at me. So just take them out. They won't respawn now after the arc charge dunking. The boss is under me. I want him to move. I've got a grenade, so I'm going to start trying to get him agitated a little bit, aggravated. Now that we've done damage to him, he kind of senses where we are, and he'll move to a spot that's good for us. I can't wait for an arc area denial grenade launcher. That'll be sick. I'm trying to get my ability surge going. I got it there. Those are those void grenades you need to be careful of. You can't really head glitch with this weapon. The slugs are so big that it hits the invisible barrier on this platform. So you kind of have to over peak, over commit to the peak, and sometimes that can be very not good. I was gonna say, I was looking at my super and I was like, man, if I die here, that'll suck. I have got my super. I'm just gonna use it. I can't wait for the next episode in this season to come out, because we're gonna get faster roaming super builds. So like the Stasis Warlock super, Song of Flame, they're gonna last, or I'm sorry, not last longer. They're going to be available, like I think they said twice as often. So like they just want you to pop them and use them. They don't want you to have to sit there and hold on to them. So they're not really meant for that, which would be nice. Go ahead and take out some of the guys that spawned in. Do a blanket. Take out that invulnerability totem that the boss is spawning in. You know, I never went back and turned on a tonic, so I probably could have done this a lot faster. Good damage on the boss there with the attack. I thought that was the boss, and I was like, man, I've never seen the boss up there. It wasn't. Taking them out spawned more in, but that's all right, because we are just trying to get this over with. Here's the finale. Boom. Now, wait for stuff to despawn. Now go. I don't want to die hitting the ground. Boom. You'll see on the left here, it'll say platinum rewards. Boom. Champion reward platinum. All right. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let me, as I'm looking up the current subscriber count real quick, I appreciate all the love you guys have been showing. If you think this video is going to help others, make sure you share it with them. Subscribing is free, by the way. We are at 507, so we've got 5 subs since the last video. Again, thank you all so much for the love and support. I appreciate it very much. This is the role we got. Reconstruction Kickstart isn't horrible, but anyway, I appreciate y'all very much. I hope you have a great time. I'll see y'all in the next one.